In this video, I'm going to show you 7 different ways to help your lead sound cut through the mix. So I just have a loop going, some little melody that I just created. And I'm going to show you first the number one error that I see everyone doing. Sub-os on the lead sound. It sounds great on its own, but when you're thinking about the overall mix of a track, you want every sound to have its own area within the range of frequencies. Increasing the sub-oscillator on a lead sound means that sub-oscillator is going to be an octave down, encroaching on the bass area. So it starts to muddy up your mix from having that in there. It sounds great on its own, and that's why all these patches on synths, they always have the sub-oscillator turned on, because you press one key and it sounds like this big, massive sound. But when you're trying to create a sound that will fit well in the mix, turn down the sub-oscillator. Right away, you're gonna clear up a lot of the lower end of the sound and leave an empty space just for your lead sounds. The second thing is the waveform. Sines or triangles do not cut well through the mix. What you want is a sound with a lot of harmonics, basically, to cut through the mix. Remember I was talking about the frequency ranges. What happens, the mid and lower mid ends up having a lot of sounds in it, because that's where we hear a lot. And a lot of our instruments, a lot of the musical scales, kind of in that mid-range area. So what we want to do is add harmonics with the sounds higher up within the frequency range. And a sine is just the note you're playing. A triangle, once passed through a filter, ends up being almost the same as a sine. So right away, we can increase the ability of this sound to cut through a mix by changing the waveform. There's a square, much brighter already, and even better is a saw. Saw has a lot of harmonics. It's going to cut right through everything. I'm showing you here on the System 1M. It has a few extra options that maybe many other synths don't. For example, super saw, stacked saws. Now that's going to cut through even better. And there's a color option, so you can tweak some of these sounds. Even the saw, you can kind of tweak it till you hear it cutting through your mix. Just using that color knob. Another thing to do, this is just a single oscillator that you're hearing right now. A good way to help add harmonics and help a sound cut through a mix is to add a second oscillator. Again, you're adding harmonics, brightening it up, helping it to cut through that mix. And the second oscillator, if you haven't noticed, is actually an octave higher, adding a lot more higher range sounds. It's going to help it cut through that mix. It is the same, and even that, without, with. But if there's nothing else in the higher end, maybe turn the second one up one more octave, brighten it up, help it cut through the mix. The next thing, and this depends on the synth that you're using, but here on the System 1M, we have that option, and it's oscillator sync. It adds a lot of harmonics, can help it really cut through the mix. I'm going to switch both to saw waves here, and on the same. There's with and without. With. And if you start playing with the tuning, you can really mangle things up. You hear those really bright harmonics? I've just turned it up to 8 foot on oscillator 2 now. And then I'm playing with the fine tuning a little bit. It's almost bell-like sounds now that are gonna cut right through that mix, slice right through it. So shut that off. So I just have the 2 oscillators now. I'll leave it on 2 saws. The other option that you can do to help a sound cut through a mix is to modulate the filter. Now there's a few different options for this. Here's just an LFO doing it. And you want to do this at a high frequency. The only issue with this is that it doesn't change with the pitch of the sound. You're hearing one pitch all the time. But luckily, we're using a System 1M with patchability. So I'm going to shut down that LFO. I'm going to take the output of oscillator 2 and just patch that into the LFO input for the filter. So there it is with no modulation. There it is with the modulation. And you can play around with the pitch of oscillator 2 to change the modulation. It is really high now. Again, there it is with, without. Here it kind of brightens it up, makes it a little more brassy. I'll take this patch out and I'll show you another option. This one is kind of obvious, but you need it to cut through the mix, overdrive it, or send it through some distortion. So distortion adds a lot of harmonics to the sound. It's gonna help it just slice right through everything. Now another one that I like to do, but isn't so obvious, you can use an external delay, or in the case of the System 1M, it's internal delay. And turn the delay way down. You hear it's now a bright, kind of brassy sound with the time all the way down on the delay. Here it is without, with. And sometimes just that little bit of brightness can help it cut through the mix. Doing this is something similar to what you get with a saw wave, where it's stacking the waves because the time delay is so short, but it's doing it after it's sent through the filter and everything. So that's it. 7 easy tips to help get your lead sounds to cut through a mix. If you like this, then subscribe below. I'll be posting more videos like this. And also leave a comment letting me know if you have any questions or anything that you'd like me to show you.